Mrs Miniver, the story of a valiant woman whose love and devotion shield her family from the cruelest onslaught of devastation ever visited upon mankind.
You have to wonder how a film made during the Second World War about the Second World War managed to not just feel like another piece of the giant propaganda machine.
It did? Oh, okay, that makes sense.
No, I'm kidding. I'm mostly kidding, okay? Mrs Miniver is the Oscar Best Picture Award winner for 1942. And, you know, you have to wonder a little bit of how they kept the Oscars going all through the war.
Oh, because all of the Academy members were far too rich to go to war? Okay, that makes sense.
Anyway, this is a movie about Mrs Miniver, surprisingly enough. An upper middle class wife whose biggest problem is, at the beginning of the film, that her expensive taste in clothes kind of is it's a little too expensive for, you know, for what she can afford. Fortunately, her husband has an equally expensive taste in cars, and therefore they're a perfect match. If, you know, it never really deals with them spending too much, you know? Anyway, their severely unturbulent family life, where the looming possibility of war isn't even mentioned until it kicks off, it's quickly interrupted by, guess what? The kickoff of war, yes. And as any good, solid, God-fearing English people do, they finish the church service before they start running around like headless chickens, yeah. But that's off track. Anyway, we watch as the son heroically steps up to the call of his country and joins the Air Force and goes off, and oh, before he goes off, he meets a little lady down there. And she's kind of a class, or at least half a class above them, so it's kind of, her grandmother's all unhappy that she's up with this guy, and they want to get married, but then suddenly he's called away just before they can get married. Hey, isn't that the way things, no, it's not, what happened? Basically from there we see, you know, we watch Mrs Miniver do what any good, normal, sensible English housewife would do. She fights the Nazis in her own way, you know. They stayed at home, right? They worked in the factories, they did whatever it took. No, she fights an actual Nazi. Okay, Nazi crash lands, she fights him. No, that's fine, that's normal, that's regular stuff. We're seeing what any housewife would do in this situation. She just, you know, she stays at home. She gets stressed when her husband gets called out to all the other people in the area. They gather their boats and go off to Dunkirk, and she stresses about him, you know. Things scary. Stole a gun off a Nazi. What? I mean, she deals with the trauma that other even upper middle class families dealt with during the war. Rigs a flower show. What? Mrs Miniver is both the every woman and the absolutely freaking nobody is like this character. That it's impressive to see that mixed together, you know, leaving you thinking, wow, it's not exactly what I thought the women did during the war, but okay, cool. Here is my woman review for Mrs Miniver. I'll say this about the film, it absolutely is not one of those dreary Best Picture Oscar winners, aka every Best Picture Oscar winner. No, it manages somehow, and I don't understand how, really. You'd think it's, you know, it's depicting the realities of war at the time, and it's talking about, oh, the toll that deaths take on us and all that. And yet it feels almost the entire time like quite a light-hearted drama. There are serious emotional moments, but also, you know, it's got these comedic moments, it's got romance in there, it's got a heartwarming friendship between the two lead ladies that, like, won them both Oscars, I think. And it just, it does feel a little uplifting at times, and that is when it strays kind of more into the propaganda machine territory, but it had to be at least a little like that. It couldn't get away not being at all like that, you know? Had to have a little something there to spoon feed them so that they could chuck up that, you know, so, pay for the war in America, help them out or whatever, you know, at the very end. Had to do a little bit. I'm giving Mrs Miniver 80 out of 100. I very much think, looking at the other nominees and stuff, this did deserve to win that year. And, you know, it managed not to be dreary, not to be filled with the propaganda or the depressing realities of war. It avoided all that, and it was a pretty great, enjoyable watch. And that's all for this one, folks. You know, I'm pretty excited, not gonna lie. I get to go watch Casablanca now, well, rewatch. I'm pretty excited about it. Do subscribe down below, guys, if you enjoy the Oscar 1 minute reviews, or if you enjoy anything else going on the channel. And let me know what else you want to see, because I'll, you know, do whatever. Yeah.